Hi everyone, welcome back to Unite Pieces channel, and today we are going to tell you about an horror movie. So make sure you watch this video till the end for a better experience. There is a city in the Sumy region of Ukraine called Konotop. This city has a rich history and is known for its significant role in Ukrainian history, including the famous event known as the Battle of Konotop in 1659, where Ukrainian Cossack forces defeated the Russian army. In addition to its history, Konotop is also often associated with folklore and legends, including tales of witches, which add to the city's unique appeal in Ukrainian culture and literature. Olena was a very beautiful and attractive woman. She married Andriy, a soldier in Ukraine who lived in Konotop. Their married life was full of happiness. Andriy was a very kind and caring husband, and they deeply loved each other. The harmony in their marriage was complemented by a cute dog named Ozzy. One day, while Olena was sleeping, she dreamed about death. She told the dream to her aunt, Yavdoka. Upon hearing Olena's dream, Aunt Yavdoka was very shocked and warned Olena to be careful because it was a bad omen for her marriage. On the other hand, Russia's military invasion suddenly attacked Ukraine. The news of the Russian attack reached Andriy and Olena. Since they lived not far from the military invasion, they both quickly rushed to leave their home and move away from the area of the invasion. While Andriy and Olena were on their way, they suddenly saw at the end of the road that Russian soldiers were blocking the road with tanks and were tightly guarded by Russian troops. At that moment, Andriy stopped his car to prepare himself to face the Russian soldiers. Olena asked Andriy to take her to her aunt Yavdoka's house, which was not far from there. Andriy felt unsafe if Olena stayed at her aunt's house, but Olena reassured Andriy that her aunt's house was the safest place for her. Meanwhile, the Russian soldiers began approaching Andriy and Olena's car. They asked for Andriy's identification. While the chief of the Russian soldiers was checking Andriy's ID, two soldiers began teasing Olena. Seeing this, Andriy became very angry. When they pointed their guns at him, Andriy immediately fought back, and a gunfight broke out between Andriy and the Russian soldiers. Eventually, Andriy and Olena managed to get past the area and reached Aunt Yavdoka's house. The aunt greeted them with great joy. Strangely, when Olena got out of the car and spoke to Yavdoka, Andriy did not get out of the car. Olena went back to ask Andriy to get out, but she was shocked when she saw that Andriy had died with gunshot wounds all over his body. Olena was devastated by the loss of Andriy, the one she loved so much. Then, Olena vowed to take revenge for their actions. She performed a pact ritual with the devil to gain magical powers. All Russian soldiers began raiding the houses of the local residents to search for Andriy and Olena. The soldiers started entering the houses and committing wrongful acts against the residents, including one woman who was in the house. It didn't stop there. They then took the woman as their hostage, intending for her to be used for their evil purposes. One of the soldiers suddenly died mysteriously, leaving behind a piece of paper that read, "This forest is your grave." The magical terror sent by Olena did not stop there. The chief, who was sleeping, dreamed of a witch saying, "You will die." And the chief woke up from his sleep. Olena began infiltrating the soldiers' camp and attacked one of the Russian soldiers with a magical spell. The next day, Olena spread terror once again with her magic, casting a spell on all the Russian troops with the words, "That forest is their grave." The troops were deeply disturbed by the magical terror caused by Olena. That night, Olena performed another ritual to unite with the devil, aiming to become stronger so that her mission of avenging her husband's death would succeed. Olena found a photo of the wife and child of one of the soldiers who had died. She took the photo and began crafting a magical spell to attack the wife and child shown in the picture. While Olena was in the process of casting the spell, her aunt, Yavdoka, came to see her. Aunt Yavdoka tried to advise Olena, but Olena remained steadfast in her resolve to seek revenge for Andriy's death. Olena did not care about the karma or consequences she might face. All she wanted was revenge. Meanwhile, the Russian soldiers began burying their fallen comrades, victims of Olena's magic. Suddenly, one of the soldiers screamed and informed the others that his family, his wife and child, had died. He also revealed that someone had sent him photos of his wife and child severely injured. Olena attacked the soldiers once again with her magical spells. Her magical terror began to haunt all the soldiers, and one by one, they died tragically. Olena then returned to her Aunt Yavdoka's house to regain her strength. Aunt Yavdoka advised Olena to stop, warning her that the darkness itself would consume her. However, Olena paid no attention to the warning. She promised her aunt that once everything was over, she would leave her aunt's house. The chief and the other soldiers began to wonder whether the deaths of their comrades were caused by a witch or by a Ukrainian assassin squad. The chief then gave an order. No one was allowed to sleep that night as they needed to gather information about the mystery behind the deaths. While the soldiers and the chief were on guard, a thick white smoke suddenly appeared, and the witch Olena emerged from behind it. Olena then unleashed her magical terror on all the Russian soldiers present. The next day, the chief gave orders to conduct an inspection in the village. Suddenly, one of the soldiers shouted, calling the chief and his companions. He pointed to the bodies of their deceased friends being dragged to another place. Another strange thing happened to the other Russian soldiers. Olena's magic attack began to take effect. On the other side, the soldiers who had begun moving to uncover the mystery of the place noticed many owls perched in the trees. Suddenly, Olena shot one of the soldiers. Olena revealed herself not far from the shooting, and the chief immediately shouted, commanding all the soldiers to shoot the witch. A gunfight ensued, but Olena disappeared. Meanwhile, one of the soldiers screamed for help because of the pain. Suddenly, a woman appeared carrying an axe and then chopped off the soldier's hand and head, while saying, "My axe is the best. It has been inside you." This was in response to the soldier's words when he released him, saying, "My pea is the best. It has been inside you." Olena suddenly arrived at her aunt's place, asking for help because she was injured. She asked her aunt to remove all the bullets from the back of her body. While her aunt was removing the bullets, Aunt Yavdoka was shocked because there was something strange about Olena's body. Even though Aunt Yavdoka was a witch, she couldn't figure it out. While advising Olena, Aunt Yavdoka was scratched by Olena, causing her hand to be injured. Olena became angry and told Aunt Yavdoka to leave her because the soldiers would be coming to find her. Aunt Yavdoka didn't want to leave Olena, but Olena forced her to go so that Aunt Yavdoka would be safe. Meanwhile, the soldiers checked the location where Olena had been standing during the gunfight, and they saw blood dripping from a gunshot wound. The chief confirmed that the sorceress had been shot, but one of the soldiers warned them to be cautious, as it could be a trap set by the sorceress. However, the chief dismissed the warning and didn't believe it. A heated argument broke out between the chief and one of his soldiers. The soldier wanted to halt the military invasion at that location. He decided to leave, thinking that they were the ones who had come to that place and disturbed it. The chief became angry when the soldier attempted to leave and shot him. The chief then urged all the soldiers to continue searching for the sorceress and to kill her. All the soldiers began to inspect the area. The chief and some soldiers entered Aunt Yavdoka's house. Ariana and the other soldiers checked outside, and a fight broke out between Ariana and her comrade. Ariana shot her comrade, who had insulted them. Meanwhile, the chief and the other soldiers eventually discovered the sorceress's ritual room. One of the soldiers suddenly fired his weapon while shouting, but his face was injured due to Olena's magic. The chief was then unexpectedly attacked by his comrade, forcing the chief to shoot him. The chief then hid in order to capture Olena. When the chief stabbed Olena from behind and she fell, it turned out to be a trick. The one he struck was his own comrade, not Olena. When Olena was about to kill the chief, Aunt Yavdoka arrived and told Olena that she was pregnant and must not kill the chief. Olena was deeply saddened and asked what she should do. "Forgive the evil person," Olena asked. Aunt Yavdoka answered no, but there was another way to punish him. The chief was cursed to go mad and then left on the road. Soon after, Ukrainian soldiers arrived and captured the chief, as he was considered a threat to the Ukrainian forces. 9 months later, Olena gave birth to a very handsome baby boy, whose face resembled that of her husband, Andriy. They lived happily together as a family of 3, along with their beloved dog, Ozzy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and see you tomorrow.